Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our our monthly meeting. This is the meeting of the City of Gary Community Cleanup Committee, and we meet once a month, the third Thursday of every month. We're going to start with introductions. Mrs. Carpenter?
My name is Clarice Carpenter, and I'm from the 1st District.
I'm civil rights activist Mr. Riso on the 4th District.
My name is Nick Vassell. I'm from the 6th District.
My name is Sadie Sheffield from the 2nd District, Precinct Committee person.
I am Frances Bush, co-chair of this committee and reside in the 3rd District. We don't have any department heads here yet. I'm not sure who's going to be here and who's not going to be here, but we're going to go ahead and start with our agenda as much as we can. On the last cleanup, did any of you attend the last cleanup that we had?
No, I didn't.
You did not. What about you, Ms. Carpenter?
I did go to a cleanup. I'm trying to think. It was on 17th, and I can't remember exactly where, but I did go to one.
Okay.
Mhm.
And was it on the east side or the,
I think it was on the east side.
okay.
Or maybe, I'm sorry, I just cannot remember. It's been a while.
Okay. So was that the last cleanup or, see, I kind of lost track because at the last meeting, I don't remember them talking about when the next cleanup was going to be or what happened with the last one. So I kind of lost track.
I thought the last one was going to be the 1st District.
That's correct.
Was it?
We started with the 6th District.
And worked?
And worked backwards.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I don't know if Miss Wyatt had it or not. I'm not sure,
Okay.
because I don't remember seeing any signs or anything.
I understand that there's a Blight Buster meeting coming, cleanup coming up this weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, October
what-
19th.
Can you tell us anything about that? You guys saw the flyer,
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I have a flyer. It states, oh Jesus, that's good. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, it states Blight Busters Day, volunteers today. It's Saturday, October 19th, 2019. 7:30 a.m. registration and rally at New Macedonia Baptist Church, located at 2533 Wait. W is in wagon, A is in apple, I is in igloo, T is in Tom, E is in Edward Street in Gary, Indiana. And the cleanup kicks off from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It says it's focused on the areas of 25th from Avenue from Grant to Birch Street. And it's inviting everyone from businesses to community organizations, faith-based community educational institutions, black clubs, and basically citizens. So that's pretty much, the Blight Busters is usually one of the great big things that we have.
Right.
And it also says to register as a volunteer, please complete application on the city website, www.garyIN.us, or call 881-4815, which should be the mayor's office of constituent services, if I'm correct. And it says registration deadline is Monday, October 7th. And with that last part stating, you can't make the October 7th registration. I don't make the rules, but I'm sure if you show up at that particular time after the fact, they will accept you. Because it's
All volunteers.
Yeah, all volunteers
is
are
accepted.
welcome to come along. And I just want to mention, I think it's a good thing that we are doing the Blight Busters. Even though I'm in this organization, it's not about a political thing. It's about a Gary thing. And, so whether you come out or not, it's on you. You know, but the thing is this is our town. Town is composed of people, not buildings. So if everybody does their part, then basically things can be done in order. Because one thing you can't say is not the mayor going around throwing garbage out the window of a car or the politicians. It's the other citizens. So we need to focus on that. You know, if everybody does everything that we're supposed to do, if you pick up one piece of paper a day and I pick up one piece of paper, we get it down. And it's like chipping off an iceberg. You can't knock it down at one time, but if everybody do something, pieces at a time, it will make a big difference.
Big
You know.
difference. That is-
I want to make a difference. You know, since y'all don't want to talk tonight, I had many years ago I worked at a steel mill, and I was a machine electrician and a machine mechanic. And then they started laying us off. That was the 5th mill that I worked at, and so I took a job as a janitor. And why I'm bringing this story up is because it reminds me of the citizens of Gary. I cleaned the locker rooms up one time and the area up one time, and the individuals thought that it was my job to come back and continue to clean. My point in comparison to Gary people is that, I'm sorry, some citizens, I'm not going to say all of it, is that some citizens think because we clean one neighborhood that we're going to keep coming back to clean that same neighborhood, and it's impossible to do. The area, the amount of people. If you give general services overtime, then someone's going to complain. You know, so my thing is that if we do what we're supposed to do, you know, it's nice we got the assistance from the city, but then we still got to do our own part. Just like I told the guys when I worked at the steel mill, I said, I am not your mother. You throw the garbage down there after I clean it up, I clean it one time. Now, if you throw something on the floor and you decide to pick it up, that's fine, because you have to walk on this floor. And that's the same thing with Gary relatives, our citizens. If you see a piece of paper on the ground and it's 2 houses down, it's a 50-50 chance that wind is going to blow the piece of paper in front of your house. So now, instead of doing a favor for the man down the road, you're actually helping yourself. You know, so pick it up and save yourself the extra time. Because they're not going to say on Mrs. Sheffield block, it's raggedy, because it was a piece of paper. They're going to say the whole block. They're not going to say that. You understand? So we have to take responsibility in our town. And with a good, clean town, more businesses, which means more tax base.
Thank you very much,
All right.
Mr. Russo. We appreciate your comments. Vic, do you have any input?
Well, it's not getting things clean, it's keeping it clean.
That's right.
It's got to be consistent, it's got to be coordinated, and people have to get together
Right.
and work together and do things together. And these block clubs are the most important thing. Getting things clean off your parameters of your own block area
Right.
and to keep it clean. I found one, the last meeting we did have, I found one item on the internet that was very beneficial for the city of Gary. It's called the Environmental Affairs and Green Urbanism Department. They're at 839 Broadway here,
Oh, yeah.
Route Suite 206, and their contact number is 882-3000. Give them a call. Or you can go on the internet. The website would be Garyin .us/environmental-affairs. Once you go on there, you go to the environmental service tabs, and you can get different departments within that agency. And it gives you very helpful information about cleanups, about recycling, repurposing, and reusing, and also, I was going to say and reducing too. Reducing what you've got. If you got a glass bottle, you could use it for different purposes. Why do you have to always go to the store? And this is the criticism I have about stores. There should have each store should have a recycling area where you bring your own containers and refill in the store for the containers you already have, rather than having plastic over and over and over expended out there toward the public, and we're having a solid waste dump. That's not the right way to go. We should be able to reuse what we've got. Now, I've got a question to ask. If you see broken glass and or broken mirrors, or you see propane containers, where do you take them? How do you dispose of those items? Does anybody know?
I'm not certain what you do with propane.
No, most places do not accept propane because the gas, you can't get it all out even once you get it out. I recycle a lot.
I have no-
What do we do with it? Does anybody out there have an answer?
My
Maybe they could-
suggestion is that call constituent services and see if they have an answer for you.
Sure.
Because, speaking of taking things, I did take some medications to Walgreens, they're on 25th. And there's a nice little, you don't have to talk to anybody, you don't have to do anything, just push your little containers down in there and nobody knows anything.
Right.
Right, it's all the way in the back by the pharmacist.
Right.
So,
You can take off the information.
oh, yes, I peeled off the
Peeled.
labels
Yeah.
on there and just put the container that the
Yeah, with the
peels
medicine.
came in there. But I did peel off the labels, yes.
I've seen, Brother Vic, as far as 20-pound propane tanks, which is usually the average size barbecue grill tanks, you can exchange them in. And what they actually do is they actually take them Menards, and then you refill it. What they do is exchange it with another one, and what is also a station, RV station on. Don't get me misquote me. It's on Ridge Road. It'll be a couple blocks eastbound of Bird Street, and they recycle it also. You can take them there, and the guy refills it. But so if you take, say, for example, if you have a barbecue tank, you can always take them in, and they would exchange it. How I know? Because I'm a mechanic too. So like when I have the big gas tank there, I even take the whole thing to the RV shop, and they even give me a whole new one or whatever. But they recondition. They don't just send them back out. The only thing I don't have an answer for is the little small, cute little tanks, the propane handheld tanks, stuff like that.
So you can't reuse them?
Okay.
Well, no, because they're hard to refill because the leakage of it, and then you can overfill them there. But I want to make a point to an average citizen out here. I noticed that, and it's basically self-explanatory. Rodents like garbage. That's the bottom line. So, you got everything from mice. We used to be worried about mice, cats, and dogs. Now we got to worry about raccoons. We have to worry about opossums. We have to worry about, it's a variation of things, a new type of thing. I actually caught a fox. And I've traveled down south many times, but I've never seen a baby fox in my life. And I was carrying around, had in the house, playing with it on my chest and tube. I found out it was an actual fox because it was little. But the point is they like garbage. So now you're putting yourself more in danger. And these animals, a lot of them are harmless, but then if you're scared of them, they're going to attack you. So like I said, you back a cat into a corner, you're straight. But we need to, if not any other reason in our mind to keep the area clean, is for the purpose of also keeping the rodents away. My biggest thing is when I moved to Gary, I didn't know anything about moles. So at this particular time, about 20-some years ago, I had visited as a kid from relatives, but I had a rental place, and me and my ex-wife, we was renting, and I saw this tunnel. I thought it was a snake. I freaked out. But did not know they had moles around there, so I had to find a way of getting rid of them. But we got a lot of things running around here in this big. If they don't have any food, they go elsewhere. And they eat garbage and rubbish and all that stuff. So we need to keep it together so we don't have that.
Thank you for that. Mrs. Sheffield, did you have
Well, I was talking about
to share with us?
just talking about cleaning and keeping the area where you live and in your area. I have this house next to me that I just keep. It's an abandoned house, and I keep it clean and cut. But it's not just a house, and it's not even. It just so weeds all around it. I don't call this city numerous of times. And they do not come and do anything. They came and put a sign up and said they was condemning it. They did not condemn it. And then when somebody came and knocked the whole window out and so make it look worse instead of better. But I still have my grandson to cut the yard, you know, keep it clean. And and if I see garbage or anything around, I picks it up. Because
Right.
you're
Yeah.
right, it will blow right
Right
there
to your
into
gate.
your
Yes.
Absolutely.
one of my neighbors on the move, so I know they got they was doing something to the house, so they left a lot of bags and stuff in the front. So I send my grandson out. You go out and you go over there, but grandma, you know, hey, I don't care. Go and
Right.
clean it up. You know,
Right.
people sometimes
That's
forget
right.
things,
That's
you know,
right.
and leave it there. So try to make it even nicer.
Right,
You
right.
know, so I do everything I possibly can to try to keep myself because I love Gary.
Right, right,
I love Gary.
right.
And if I see something needs to be done, I try to do it. You know.
Yeah, and I think most homeowners will clean around their homes, back, front, so forth. Many people who maybe have not always lived in the city
Right.
may not understand that you do also clean the alley
Right.
behind your house. You clean
That's right.
the sides and the back. So if we could get that point across to people, I think that would help to keep our city looking a lot better.
Yeah.
Many times, the gentleman that takes care of my yard, I just have him to cut the back
Right.
next door to me and so forth. Number one, when I come out of my garage, I need that space clean there
Right.
so that the weeds and so forth are not hanging over in the
Right.
alley and
Right.
scratching up the cars and so forth. Because there are other people who use that alley also.
Right.
So the more you keep things clean completely around your house,
Right.
the better the city is going to be.
Right.
And as you say, it helps to keep rodents and so
Right.
forth down.
Right.
That's right.
The other thing that I want to mention to the people who may not be aware, General Service will pick up one big item per week if you put it out with your garbage. You don't have to throw it in the alley. You don't have to throw it on the curb. Put it on the curb with your garbage and General Service will pick it up. I see people who put things in the alley because they think General Service might. General Service is not going in every alley.
alley, right.
They do go in some alleys,
Right.
but I'm not sure if they go in every alley.
However, though, where I live though, my this garbage disposal is in the alley.
Okay.
It's not on the curbside on the street. So it could vary from one place to another.
Right,
Right.
this
You can't
is true.
assume it's one area only, yeah.
But put it wherever your garbage can is,
Right,
put
that's
that
right.
item
Yeah.
with your garbage can.
Mhm.
That will take care of whether it's in the alley or whether it's on the curb.
Right.
Ms. Carpenter, you have any comment?
No, but I know they will pick it up if it's in front of the house. I always thought it was, in front of your house. She would always say when she came to meetings, Mrs. Williams, that we should put, like, if it's a mattress and a box spring, you could put both of them in front of the house and they'll pick it up. But maybe your neighborhood is different
We
in
have
that.
all-
Wherever your garbage
But where they
can
pick up
is.
the garbage at, that's
They're
where they
right.
pick it up.
Right.
Wherever
Yeah,
your
the
garbage
same
can
day
Your
they
house,
try to pick
they'll
it up.
pick it up. But if it's in the
Absolutely.
alley, they'll pick it up in the alley next to your
Yes.
garbage can.
Right, absolutely. Mr. Rizzo, you had a comment?
I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody. I had adopted the park about 3 years ago on 16th and Adams Street across from station number 1. And I had made a point of cleaning the park every day up until recently because it became very tedious because it seemed like the more I cleaned, the more people put down. my point to be made, I'm not saying that the blame goes mostly on the younger generation, but more likely you will see a younger adult who does not have a responsibility as far as a homeowner, like most of us own homes because we worked hard for them, throwing paper down. And the bad thing, like I told a client last night, it's not what you taught, it's what you retain. And a lot of, when I clean up the park, I find all types of things from candy wrappers and juice and all that stuff. Those parents are up there. And so if your children, and then I'm not picking up like one piece. I have to get a reacher, and I'm pretty good help, pick it up and scoop it. But here's my point here. If you don't teach your children to do right, as far as starting off when it comes to cleaning up, it's going to get worse and then they become sloppy adults.
Right.
And so that's one of the biggest problems that we have, because you can tell pretty much what type of garbage is thrown out, is what age group is putting it out there. And it's really a lot of the younger generation throwing stuff out there now. And they need to be taught better. I mean, you have to be responsible for your own child and going up to your own teenager, So that's one of my biggest problems, not just the park, but everywhere.
I'm noticing signs going up again. Even stop signs, I see, I buy houses.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And has anybody else noticed
I
that?
have, yes, I have,
Okay.
a lot.
Right. And at one time, we had just about gotten rid of all of those
Right,
signs.
sure did.
But now they're starting to pop up again. And I don't know, I believe code enforcement is the ones that were taking those down. I don't know, I'll have to check with code enforcement, was it?
I know, but I even get flyers in the mail with, please call this number if you want to sell your house.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
if
I've
I get
gotten
it in the mail, that's okay, because I can put it
Throw
in the garbage.
Right.
But it's the ones on the signs outside
Yeah.
that makes the city look bad.
Right.
You go to any other city and you don't see all these
that, no,
signs
sure
all
don't.
over the place. So these are the ones that I think we need to get on top of before it gets any worse.
But do you think signage would be helpful, getting back to the abandoned houses? No prohibited from dumping, or there'll be a $500 fine or something like that? Will that do anything to help or not? What do you
I
think?
don't know.
Because those are the places where they dump, is when they're not being observed, and they say, well, if somebody looks at what you're doing, and of course you can always check what they're dumping, what the address is on some of the information that
If
they're
you can
dumping.
find it.
That's right. That's right.
If you can find it.
Right. Because the signs is
I
usually
guess-
covered up on grass.
Yeah,
I guess signage wouldn't hurt,
Right.
but I'm not sure if it'll help.
Really good.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been tried and it's been effective or not.
Well, there are some signs up in certain places that says no dumping,
Right.
and it doesn't mean a thing.
Sure enough.
I see dumping going on where there are signs. So, I don't know,
I don't know.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe in the places that you're talking, maybe people would recognize that. But so far, what I've seen, it hasn't helped. Mr. Purnell, what did you have any comments?
Oh, about the cleanup? I was looking, keep asking people, about these alleys. These alleys have gotten totally out of hand. Not only the trash, but the weeds and trees. We had a cleanup last week. This is in the Etna area. The city did a 5x5, but but the residents have completely neglected their neighborhood. People are just letting the trash and weeds go wild out there. But hopefully, we could send code enforcement out there to, I would like to see them go house to house. Like in Chicago, they go house to house. They put a letter saying that you need to clean up, and they'll come back in a couple of weeks. If it's not cleaned up, they get cited. I think it's about $100 fine. But they said that code enforcement is self-sufficient. They make money off code enforcement.
You mean in Hammond?
In East Chicago.
In East Chicago, okay.
In East Chicago, they says it's, self-sufficient. They said they could hire more if they needed. But ours, it should be self-sufficient. It's pretty hard to collect, fines here in Gary. It's pretty hard to get people to come to court too. If they get cited, everybody just ignore it. We had a couple people on the radio, they were asking them why hadn't they come to court. They said that the city already owes them money. We got people who have hit potholes for the past 10 years. The city owes them money. Up on the 4th floor, they're packed with people that they owe money to the city. So they said the city isn't paying, why should they pay, So it's a pretty ugly situation, but I was hoping that we could get, code enforcement and the building department together. And I would like to experiment to see what happens if you take letters to people's houses or letting them know that your yard is in deplorable condition. It's time to clean up, I would like to see on my particular block, my block and the block behind, see what they clean up the alley, I guess most of the people all feel that the city is not going to do nothing. They could just leave it the way it is. But I would love to do an experiment. I said I'll do the letter and I'll even, copy them and everything, And I don't want to be going around telling the people I'm from code enforcement. Code enforcement has to put those in their particular mailboxes. Tell them to clean up their, alleys or, cut their grass, see if they'll do it, A little personal contract, it wouldn't help, but, let's experiment. Let's see what's going on. See, can we get, a little progress. We have tried a little bit of everything, even with the signage. I take the signs down 25th and Grant all the time. People are pretty upset, but, lately, they've been starting to put more up there. We have the people for the diabetes and then the foster care people, they keep putting up signs. And now, the school system, I said, we don't give them a couple months with their signs. It's time to take them down now. But hopefully we could get them to do something about the particular situation. But I would love to see an experiment whereas, you go on knocking on people's doors and see if they would take care of their property. Most people I know says nothing is getting ready to happen. So it'll be pretty great to, let's try an experiment. I'll take it all the way. I'll go to each and everybody's house and see what's the situation will be. If it works there, that means we could, make it a larger, project, And it's not, I said I would do the whole thing, but I need cooperation, I don't want to be doing the signs myself and putting them out, but the city has to put them out,
Back to the alley, there are about 3 of us that keep our alley very, very good, very clean. There are some of the neighbors who are not cutting behind their homes, but our alley is paved and it's very passable. I can't really complain about our alley. There are a few of the neighbors who will not cut behind their homes, but most of us keep it clean. And I think that's the way you're gonna have to do it. You're just gonna have to get out there and let the neighbors know that you're out there, and maybe they'll come out and pitch in,
Yeah, so we have a contract with a company, DNR Recycling. Some obvious reason they have disappeared in the past 3 or 4 months. They even took the sign down there, 7100 West 5th. Everybody keeps asking, where are they at? I said, they don't took the sign down. They had quietly tried to change the name from Dunlap and Richardson, but now they keep saying it's Richardson, but he's still there. You know, we went by there the other day, and he's there every day. The guy Ashley Dunlap, you know. And we upped the contract at Sanitary District 2 weeks ago. That was the total contract in his past 4 years of $450,000. They give DNR to clean alleys if needed. I was wondering, is it still in progress, that particular contract? Every time we talk about it at Sanitary District, they don't know, we're working on it.
Let
So-
me,
Thank you very much.
let me, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, I was going to let him finish, and then I wanted to tell everybody that our council president and the chair of this committee has arrived, and I'm going to turn this over to him for his comments.
Just short comments there. I hear Ms. Purnell talking about DNR services that perform the services of cleaning the alleys. I know they was out, I would say I've seen a truck out probably like 2 months ago. At the next council meeting, the next time we meet, I'll give a full update on where they're at with the contract and what they're doing. Now that sign that should be up at DNR where the dump site is at, there should be a sign there.
Yeah, it's gone.
We're gonna make sure that there is a sign there, especially if they have a contract, because if you're a Gary resident and this is where we're telling you to dispose of item, you need to know the location where to go, not try to figure it out. So there needs to be a large enough sign where you can read the sign. I'll emphasize it too, over at GSD too, because they're the ones that awarded that contract. I'm aware of that.
Every year they re-up on that particular
Yes.
contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know that the times that I have been out with them, they have done a good job in cleaning the alleys. But I will make sure I give you some type of answer at the next council meeting, or especially when we all come back together too for next month.
Yeah,
So
and then
what do you-
rewording the contract. When they first got it, that was about 7 years ago when the mayor became mayor, you know, but the contract was saying cleaning the alleys if needed, you know. I think they should be on a regular schedule cleaning out alleys also, you know. We have a massive problem with these alleys, you know, not only with them, but the resident with these weeds and trees. When we were in Etna last week, wow, the growth is there. Hey, I don't know what they're feeding. They must have a ton of water out there because all the alleys are full of weeds.
On the back question, on DNR, do you have to call them for them to come and do your alley, or what happens, how does that work?
I don't know what the process is that is for DNR coming out. I think it goes through general service, and if there's something that general service is already working on, something, I believe they contact DNR to come out and assist in cleaning those alleys there.
Yeah, they have it
But I'll
where,
find out what the process is, because I have never personally had to call them in. You know, I've seen them on job sites, stop and, you know, observe what they were doing on a job site. But I personally never have had to call DNR in myself.
Because, and the reason I'm interested is that, as I said, there are a few homes in our alley that will not cut. So it is growing over in there, but most of us keep it passable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that may be something we may need to reiterate the ordinances too, that it is your responsibility to keep the alleys clean. And as the city comes through and do the initial clean, we need to make sure we have a process that's in place where code is coming back out to making sure that the residents in those homes are maintaining those alleys there. Now, what I do know, we do have a problem in some areas there. You have a few houses here, but then you have quite a few houses not on the block there. So how do you compensate that issue there? I know a lot of residents pick up the slack and, you know, cleaning up vacant lots where vacant houses are at, and we appreciate that. But as time goes on, some people are not physically able to do these different things, and finances is not there for them to continue to do those things also. Ms. Reese, I see you again.
Okay, yeah, I got a question to the councilman, the chair now. During the time right around election, which I'm not saying this is affiliated with the election, but I'm just pinpointing time, there were a bunch of contractors out cutting down trees, if you guys recall, basically around the power lines.
Yes.
Okay, so now I have actually two questions. When they cut them down, they were shredding them to the finance extent, believe it or not, the tree trunks. Okay, so it's one stumps and all that stuff like that. So it's like one particular house that I always cut because I just don't like the way that, and it's a field. That was during the time of May, whenever the election time was. My question to you is, how do I get someone? Who do I contact to get them to come? Someone to get out and get up some of those stumps, because they have also tree trunks where they actually cut them up. And I tried to get them, and then I used some of the wood, but I mean, I'm bombarded. I tried to get some of them up with a U-Haul truck and couldn't get all of them up. But who do I contact? Because in fact, I don't want to approach any type of contractor.
Well, you will call the 8811-311 and report that.
Okay, the 311 and still
report
the
that to
city.
the 311.
Okay.
Their concept is if they leave the stumps there, someone will come get them. That may work in a lot of other communities, but
Right.
and it may work sometime in our community. But
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
times you cut down trees in
Right.
June, people
Right.
not coming to get firewood.
Right, but I mean, it's a lot of stumps.
We have
Right.
brought them in, had conversation with them about removing everything once they
Right,
cut these
right,
trees
right,
down.
right,
Now,
right.
if a resident come out and say, hey, you cut the tree down,
Right.
you can leave the wood, that's something different.
Right,
We're
right,
talking about
right.
going through neighborhoods.
Neighborhood,
and
yeah.
leaving wood behind.
And then the thing about
Yes.
it is that I was cutting a whole lot, but then it looks bad because I can't get to certain parts of that lot because the tree stumps is actually still
Yes.
mounted in there. And so I was trying to figure out, I told my neighbor, I said, I'll try to see who I can contact, but in my opinion, the ball will still lay upon the city because you all, they're agents of you all. And my next question, which
And if you see that happening, try and get some information. What was the name of the company?
Oh, I know
that's
the
out
name
there.
of it. Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
easy for us to
Right,
trace
right,
down
right, right.
who's
But I mean,
working in that
I know
area
what a little
and
of
hold
it
them
is, but it's an
responsible.
over bombardment. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. And then before you came in, prior to your arrival, we was talking about rodents and all this stuff like
Yes.
that. They like to inhabit in bad areas. That's not maintained. But my next question is, when we had this new company I call Hopper, which is removing the telephone poles or replacing telephone poles, I do my walks in the morning time, and I'm a mechanic, and as a little kid I used to pick up everything off the ground. Well, I still do it, but by the time I get home, I have like 20 bolts and screws in my pocket where when they cut the old poles down, they just drop everything there. It's okay for about maybe 1 or 2 bolts, but I have the oversized bolts from the old poles up on the ground, and then when they cut the electrical lines down, they don't even clean most of the stuff up. So my question is it the same process dealing with Hopper? Because I've seen NIPSCO trucks. I don't know if they're actually working conjunction with them. They contracted out with the city of Gary,
No.
or they contracted with NIPSCO.
With NIPSCO, and it's the same process. If you see that the activities going on, they're not cleaning up behind themselves, leaving
Right,
things behind, let us know.
Okay,
We
yeah,
can
still let the
contact
city
them.
know, because it's not just like I said, it's one. I've seen them in many blocks,
Right.
And that's the big thing.
So I do know they're working on the west side on the 21st and Harrison up in the
Okay,
area
okay,
there.
okay.
I'll pay close attention. I'm
Okay,
using
yeah,
that
yeah.
route on a daily basis to make sure that they have cleaned up, because they have changed
And
many
then, like I
poles in
said,
that area.
it's not just one, pieces. It's
Oh,
the bolts.
yeah.
Bolts actually. I mean, oversized bolts.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. That you can get. I almost ran over with a lawnmower.
Oh, wow.
So that was why I'm like, wow. But,
Okay.
And
And
that's,
they can do some damage to your
and
equipment.
that's
yeah.
because that, they don't think Gary citizens care.
Right. And that's
They
true.
actually don't think that we
Right.
care about our neighborhood,
Because
our
we don't
city.
come forward.
So they'll just leave it, and
That's
then
right.
we don't call no
Yeah.
one. We just, we complain to each other.
Right.
Right.
And
You know?
that's the key. We can't say, well, I know they know that's happening. No,
Right, right,
someone
right.
needs to pick up the
Yeah.
phone
Right.
and let us know what's going on inside your
Right,
neighborhood,
right, right. That's
and
true.
we can handle it accordingly also.
Yeah.
We had the same issue when NIPSCO was cutting trees, and they was cutting them so far back and pretty much butchering the trees. We
Right.
literally brought them in and had a
Right,
conversation
right,
with them.
right.
Because we signed certain disclosures with these
Right,
companies
right.
at the beginning of the year, and when they're saying they're gonna come through the neighborhood and do certain things, there are certain disclosures that's
Right,
already
right,
signed.
right.
And our whole thing was that this is the way you're gonna do it, you
Right,
won't
we
get a
need to get
disclosure
another
signed from the
contract,
city to
right.
participate with you,
Right, right.
until you kinda show us a little bit more respect.
And some things is common sense. They know if they made the mess, clean it
Yes.
up. That's.
I have a little place that they left by my house when they were putting in the new meters.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that letter that they sent out to let us know that they were going to be working in the neighborhood. And I called, very nice person that answered the phone. She took the information down. She said, I'll turn this over and somebody will contact you within a few days. The very next day, there were 2 people out there wanting to know the issue, what my problem was. I let them know what it was. They went around and they looked, and they were very, very nice. They said, we'll take care of it. And today I saw one of them out there. I said, are you filling in now? Are you ready to work on my complaint? He said, I'll get you before the week is out. So, you know, you just gotta let them know.
Absolutely.
But they have been very, very nice
In some
in
instances.
answering my
Yes.
questions.
And that's the same with the water company that's redoing the lines also too, that's coming to your property. When you get those sheets, and I believe they have to get your signature to start work on your property first. But make sure you get that contact number, so if there's anything wrong, you have that contact to contact someone, not just letting them leave your lawn any kind of way, or they remove trees should go back in the same fashion that they found them, you know. Have that contact with that person now. And if it's not right, you know, reach out to the city and let us know so we can do our part in making sure they get back out there correctly.
I got a question for you. Was it last year when they was, maybe it's last year or the year before, when they was removing replacing the street down 15th Avenue. I have a piece of property. And so I appreciate them fixing this street. It was nice. But I had a sewer in front of one of my commercial pieces of property. So now they covered the sewer up. And so they never, rehold it or, replace the sewer, they just covered up. So when the winter came, with the snow that we had last year, this season just passed, I'm sorry, whatever. There was an issue where I would have to actually literally push the snow and the slush out into the street because it, with that sewer, it drained into there. Now, I said, well, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe somebody can catch it, but down the road it's going to be a big problem because if we get a slushy thing, it's a lot of folks don't slow down when they see water. They, to me, speed up and they lose control. But I was wondering, isn't there anything I can get done as far as getting the sewer hole read?
Send me that location.
Okay,
I'll deal with it.
Okay, yeah.
That does happen from time to time.
Right.
We found one. They kept saying, this apartment complex kept saying they were having problems with the sewer, and they was calling their own plumber out, and I looked at it, it was the city sewer, which was covered up, and we found out the roots had got in there and everything, but it was a sewer that had been covered up for probably over 20 years with new asphalt over it, so we was able to discover the sewer. They come out, they have maps of every sewer inside the city,
I couldn't understand.
and so if you're saying that there's a sewer there, they can come out and they can really literally locate that sewer, and they can deal with it. That was an issue probably 6 or 8 months ago. If you all remember the Genesis Tower there on 600 and Broadway, I believe it is. 600 Every time it rained, it would flood. And you all know we had the work done on Broadway. We found as we went in and GSD came out and put the camera through and everything, we was pulling out bricks from inside the sewer, so from where they just basically put all this stuff inside instead of sweeping off as they do construction work. They filled the sewer up with bricks. And so it was not draining properly, so which it was causing the water to flood at the senior high rise, and we was able to clean out all the bricks and things of that nature. But we took the bill and we was able to charge the contractor for it. Yeah, so those things we need to know about. We don't know what happens every time it's a flood there, and you know that the city just came through and paved, and now all of a sudden you having a flooded area that you didn't have before. We need to know about it. That maybe they have covered up a manhole or a sewer.
I've got a question about, speaking about manholes. Why is it when you're going down either Broadway or some of the other streets, why is it that the manholes are on different areas of the street? Why aren't they uniform?
That's probably before I was born, when they put those sewers in there. That's a question for
a straight line.
That's really a question for the city engineer. I couldn't tell you why that was. Yes. But I do want to give an update from the 5x5 out in Etna. Didn't have a lot of big turnout in public participating, but did have a lot of workers that came out. They did take care of some key areas there. But I spent most of my time with code enforcement there. We cited over 35 properties as we was there that day. There's a recheck that's going back in tomorrow, matter of fact, because the code enforcement officer that was there had a mercy at the tape. But they're going back in. It was just amazing. So many cars that had expired plates. That's an area I know very well, so I was able to tell, hey, this car's been here with the Illinois plate for X amount of time. So, you know, because when you come to the Illinois plate, someone has to be able to verify how long that car's been there, or that person been living there. So you send a code enforcement out there, they just can't cite them because of the Illinois plate, because no one knows how long. Someone has to verify this person been here this long. So that's a process that we're going to have to work through as a city going forward. How do we deal with the Illinois plates there to verify how long this person been inside the city at the same time? But a lot of great things took place, and I've been through that today. Seen a lot of those cars that were cited. They are moved because we pretty much quite a few had 72-hour stickers. I think we told probably about 4 cars that day that had plates that was expired from 2017. Some people that had a mechanic shop, or one guy had a mechanic shop that was open up at his home. We did some towing there also too. So we did quite a bit of citing in that area there. But I think once you continue to do these things, you'll start seeing the area change, because so many times people think it's scary, we can, you know, do what we want to do. But as the culture change, with the city doing what they're supposed to do and doing it on a regular, I think that would change our neighborhood a whole lot. We'll still make a difference.
Okay, I was hoping that code enforcement would be here tonight, but they're not. Because my question was going to be, I go down Taft Street and I see cars parked on the sidewalk daily. What happens when code enforcement goes down the street and see cars parked on the sidewalk?
That's not just a code enforcement issue, that's a police department issue.
Okay.
We all have to work together some kind of way,
Right.
you know, and I think that's an issue where we need to bring our chief in and have that same conversation, not just our code enforcement director. We need to have that conversation with our police chief. When we see the small violations inside our community, they need to be dealt with. And it's not so much about just giving out tickets and fining people, but giving people warnings and letting them know, hey, what you used to do, you cannot no longer do inside this community. And that's a big issue, because we do have people that walk, and a lot of people have to walk into the street if cars are parked on the sidewalk. So that needs to be addressed. And maybe that's we'll have our chief to come in at our next meeting and discuss some things on the police side. Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, it's about our time. Anything else, Councilman?
Well, you know, we're coming to the end of the season. Leaves are starting to fall. The weather has changed. You know, we've been taking grass clippings inside of the garbage can, but we asking everyone to utilize the brown bags, put leaves inside the brown bags. We do not allow for the leaves to be put inside the garbage can and go to the landfill. That's recycled totally separately. So we ask everyone, since we're coming into the fall season with the leaves, to utilize the brown bags. We'll meet again next month on the 21st. That meeting might change. I think I'm scheduled to be out of town that day, but that's our schedule right now for the 21st at 5:30. Yeah. Oh, might change. Okay.
Yeah, then
Put it up a little bit.
Okay.
we do have a cleanup that's coming up Saturday
Right,
okay.
also.
Just
The
Well,
25th and
Wait and wait.
yeah,
Okay.
that's coming up Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully.
What group is sponsoring that?
New
Black-
Macedonia
Black-
Baptist
That's
Church,
the Black Bus. The Black-
2533 Wade Street.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead,
Yeah.
finish.
No, okay, you can go.
So,
Okay, just go to make the announcement.
yeah,
You can-
but I said earlier,
Okay, okay.
but I got a kind of a point. We as a group, we working together with the city of Gary, but then at the same time, it seems like we're separated. And I know it's not because we don't want to work with code enforcement in the city, but it's just like my complaint right now is that it's not enough notification sent to us. You know, just like me and Brother Vic, we just found out about this today downstairs.
Okay.
And see, people I have working for me, I'm real particular about my machines, you know, my workers, so certain workers get on. But if I had enough notification, I could have it, which means that anybody, as far as churches, can get a joint. So we need to come up with another way of basically advertising our particular affairs and events.
Okay.
You know, because what we doing, we basically jumping on the bandwagon of whatever's going on, and it's the city's doing it, but then we are the city. But I'm saying the city department. But like I said, I just found out about it, Ms. Carpenter, Brother Vic. So we have to find an avenue where in which we have to be able to get us out, because you know, a couple is where we can let the public know. You know, I walk around the neighborhood. I mean, I know, like I said, it's not. I don't want to work with that. It's just it's not enough notification for a lot of stuff. So we got to kind of figure it out.
So do any of you all get like the city's email blast that they sent out from the city? Because all of that stuff will be on the city.
Can you give me the?
I'll have to get it. I don't know it right off the top of my head.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what I would ask though, that we have a telephone number for everyone, so that way we can either text the message out to you and give some type of update, just
Yeah.
as our group,
Right.
we know ahead of
Right,
time.
right.
Yes.
Because you see, like, it has Gary, Indiana, GaryN.US to register or call 881-4815, area code 219, which I know for sure is the Office of Constituent Services. But I don't know if it's some type of email list that you can put on where it's different information that will come to you or what. But you know, if you got enough notification, it's fine. You know, the older we get, we don't, unless you got kids
Right.
running around the house saying, hey, it's my birthday, you be like, oh, well, you know, you jump up. So
I'll contact Ms. Brooks and
Okay.
make sure that
Okay.
any type of clean-out list that she has
Right.
pending, that she
Right,
wants
right.
to do, that we are all.
oh yeah, aware of
And
it.
get
Right,
prior
right,
notification
right,
of it,
right.
not
Yeah,
4 days
for
before
the
the
event.
event.
Because I mean, I would love to get into it, but it's,
Yeah.
you know, just, I don't know.
It would have been
no-
good had we gotten it out at our last meeting.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right. Okay, so at least a month. I know it
So
sounds
I don't
crazy.
know if that was announced council.
Yeah.
Did they
so-
ever set up a time or do District 1? Because District 1 was the last cleanup.
That was the one at Etna they just had
Yeah.
last
Oh,
Thursday.
Etna.
It was-
Yeah, that's-
Etna
They
was
didn't
the
do
targeted
Miller.
area. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Etna was the targeted area, yes.
Oh, okay, so that was
Glen
District
Ryan.
1.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay.
Like I said, code enforcement's going back out tomorrow. I know general service was back out today, picking up branches, cutting down trees out there today. So, they have been working different, as you know, the first day, everybody comes out, and after that, different groups come out, different departments comes out.
Right.
So I was out there today with general service, talked to code enforcement today. They're coming out tomorrow to do the rechecks.
Okay.
Yes, and continue to do, checking the rest of, that area where they was working at.
Now, could they get fined if you find anything behind their house?
Absolutely.
And stuff, you know, you want
Absolutely.
to find them, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they don't believe nothing.
Now, when we went out, we wasn't just looking for the cars and things that was in the front yard. We looking at the gutters, because they could cite you for how the house is unsafe and things of that nature. And we could cite you for how you keep in your backyard and things of that nature there was cars in some backyard. Somebody, like they had a big party and just threw everything on the side of the house, you know, cans and things of that nature. We cited for that.
Yeah.
So it's not just what we see in the front, they're actually doing a look on the sides and the back of the
Yeah.
house also. And just the house
In general.
in general, yes.
Yeah.
It is our time to close our meeting.
Right on time. Well, we only go for 1 hour from 5:30 to 6:30, and we thank everyone for coming out, and we look forward to seeing everybody next month. I would like for us next month, we're gonna have a few guests, but we won't spend the whole meeting talking about the guests.
Right.
Let's talk about more proactive things, what we wanna see in 2020. There is a new administration coming in, and I would like to have him at our first meeting in the year to talk about some things that we want to see. But let's have a discussion at our next meeting about what we want to see happen inside 2020, and let's put our agenda on the table at that time.
Okay, and then the agenda item, you know, I was going out of my way, I was gonna ask the East Chicago Code Enforcement to come and explain how they do it. They, code enforcement, like I said, is self-sufficient. They make money off code enforcement in East Chicago. They says, they can afford to hire a few officers, and he says that, if you give him enough time, he would like to come and explain how they do this process over there.
I would like that. I would welcome that. Yes. I'll welcome that. Now, we have looked at our code enforcement, and we, like I said, we're beefing up to make sure there's a code enforcement officer in each district. But they have not been writing tickets like they should,
Sure.
and the financials are not there, and we're looking to make those changes there and be consistent going to 2020 with the new administration also too. Yes.
Should we announce now that our meeting
Yes.
will be changed?
So instead of having a meeting on the 21st, I'm asking that we move that 1 week to the 14th.
Oh, let me
Yes.
get that down.
So that'll be the second Wednesday, second Thursday in November. That will be our last meeting for the year. Yes. So I might have some little snack for us.
And will you guys still be sending out by chance the actual meeting invites with that new date on them?
Yes, I'll make sure we still send it out to everybody, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a early chicken from
Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all at our next meeting on the 14th of November. Thank you.
Okay.